And here she is.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm cool. I love your new hair.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Good weekend?
Yes, not bad at all. Not bad at all. I slept, eh? It was nice. And I wanted to come to the awards on Saturday night, but
I
was stuck home with the little one, so I couldn't leave. But I hear we cleaned up.
Yep. We did it again. And we'll be celebrating our colleagues who picked up various awards. Manasseh was the overall. Yeah, what can we say?
Yeah,
it's another one for all of us.
Yeah. 4 of our team walking away with some awards there. How about you? What did you get up to?
Oh, no. Just taking it easy throughout.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it was an easy weekend for most of us.
Yeah. Roland is out and about somewhere. I hear he's chasing a demonstration. He'll be bringing it to us very soon. No doubt he had a nice weekend with his family as well. Yeah, well, okay. So what have you got? We're
going to go through the newspapers, and I'm starting it off. The Daily Graphic newspaper, front page of the Graphic. Cargo tracking starts today. Business is great. Britain and Northern Ireland. Eden Heights launches luxury apartments. Sad one, teacher dies in Manguasi SHS accident. And here's Mr. Rawlins. My integrity intimidates, threatens some people. He was speaking in Kumasi. There was a bit of that in our news, by the way. Back page of the Daily Graphic. Anglo Gold Ashanti constructs water treatment plants. And Amantin Starch Factory to start operations January 2019. Center spread, there's a special focus. Bio Katsengo Children Study Under Trees. So essentially students studying under trees. That's it. The center spread of the paper.
Yes, indeed. Right, well, I've got a few. I'll start with the Daily Guide. Government saves $7.6 billion in power deals. Now, you remember when we first read that story from My Joy Online, I made a comment that we'd like to see the evidence so that we can understand how he saved money. I think Roland actually made that point first, and I agreed with him. Well, I received some proof over the weekend.
Okay.
I got a report sent to me by somebody close to the president. And it had details of all the deals.
So we have actually saved.
Yes, it would appear that we have. Because you see, while those power deals were existent, it was costing us a lot of money. Whether we were, implementing them or getting power from them or not, it was costing money. So cutting them off, ending them does save the state quite a lot of money. So yes, $7.6 billion saved there. So good for them. Let's see more saving and less leakage from the government. I didn't kill judges, Rawlings roars, and details of that on pages 3 and 6. Auditor General sued. Interesting. You can find out more about that too. Now, the banking sector is not in crisis. 7 failed banks has less than 10% of industry's assets. Remaining local banks are stable. That's according to Dr. Addison. Don't know how you would feel if you lost 10% of your assets, but Dr. Addison says this is not a crisis and that the remaining banks are absolutely fine. We are open to offers for new airline, Aviation Minister declares. Exim Bank backs One District One factory with 417 million Ghana cedis. Agro-processing and pharmaceutical sectors are to benefit. That's a lot of money that is being pledged by these banks, and I want to see some Ghanaian entrepreneurs tapping in and taking advantage of these facilities. UK hints at bilateral trade deal, and there's an event coming on today. We'll be learning more about it later on the show. We need equitable trade rules, Gihok MD. Amenfiman Rural Bank opens Suame branch. These are both on the back page of the Business and Financial Times. Let me tell you what's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Clamp down on vigilantism in Ghana, Ibn Chambers is reported to have said. I wish we'd just stop calling it vigilantism. Hooliganism is what it is. 5 soldiers and 10 others arrested over chieftaincy dispute in Somenya. President elated about Ghana's full membership at La Francophonie. And cargo tracking note takes off today at major ports of the country. Should I do the finder as well? Yeah, okay. Auction of 6 oil blocks kicks off. It's the first time since oil production started in 2010. Will do away with the tendency of corruption. Government to set up new 200 million Ghana cedi fund to support young entrepreneurs. And CTN policy takes off today despite lawsuit by freight forwarder. And ignore fake check rumors. That's the NEIP calling. And important stories you want us to deal with?
Let's do the Ghanaian Observer newspaper, front page of the Observer. Probe Mohammed Shodi Saglemi housing project attaching charges AG and Iyoko. Also, open up and let's help propagate your good works upon Nkrumah to state CEOs. Dr. Baumia's mobile money interoperability bear big fruits in 5 months, according to the paper. Whale Cloud and Alibaba partner government to make Accra smart city. Also, government to establish 200 million Ghana cedis fund to support businesses. Let's finish off with the Daily Dispatch and the Daily Statesman. So the Daily Dispatch newspaper first, front page. Alliance against John Mahama confirmed. Gang of 5 considering a merger against Mahama. That's according to Mensa. I guess it's Sylvester Mensa. Not sure. We'll get to the details of that on the back page. Yep. Mother, 2 daughters, and baby jailed for stealing 2 olonkas of corn. Incredible. Reason for huge interest in 1982 murder story. So the Daily Dispatch continuing with who killed the judges. The Daily Statesman newspaper now Ghana to strengthen bonds with La Franconi, according to Ekufuado. Power deal revealed to save Ghana $586 million. NDC's bloated capacity arrangements siphoned millions. And Whale Cloud Alibaba to partner Ghana to innovate city projects. So these are the stories, the Daily Statesman newspaper and the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Where shall we begin now?
Who is partnering government to make Accra?
Wait, you don't think that
Alibaba
this could be real?
Oh, actually, on the contrary, I'm told that Albert Einstein didn't like taking showers much. He was too busy working. So I guess you can be a smart city and still be a dirty city, right? Oh. We'll see. So many targets we've set for Accra. Yeah. I wonder which one we will meet first. I
want to begin with Mr. Rawlings. I want to start off the Daily Graphic newspaper, maybe 2 or 3 stories that I'll pick from here. But let's talk about Mr. Rawlings. Page 16. Former President Jerry John Rawlings has stated that the recent catalogue of allegations against him that have resurfaced in the media are calculated effort by certain vested interests who feel intimidated and threatened by his level of integrity. At 71, he said he had held onto his integrity for so long and was proud of it. According to him, it was too late for him to compromise on what had brought him that far, as his integrity was not for sale. It was a tech talk, right? Quotes.
Yes.
When you maintain the solidity of your position and refuse to compromise, they naturally have a problem because you may have become so influential, unquote. He said at the 2018 Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Student Representative Council organized Tech Talk event in Kumasi on Saturday, October 13, 2018. All right, just down that story though, teacher dies in Mangoasi SHS accident. The teacher of the Mangoasi Senior High School at Adoso in the Eastern Region died when the school bus on which he was traveling together with about 50 students of the school was involved in an accident near Udumase Krobo in the Lower Manya Krobo municipality on Saturday. The students and their teacher were traveling on the school bus when the accident occurred around 8:40 a.m. They were said to be heading to Somanya on an educational trip. Really, really sad incident there. You can continue to read on. Just finally, this story on page 2, the cargo tracking, that's starting today, but we know that a group is in court. The cargo tracking notes policy takes off Today, October 15, 2018, the policy was piloted from January 1, 2018, but was suspended in August following agitation by the Ghana Union of Traders Association and the Ghana Institute of Trade Forward. So the deal is that Guta went backdoor, that's the allegation, and agreed for this to happen, to go ahead. But the freight forwarder said that they were not, they were not in on this, and that Guta did it without their involvement.
Do they still have? Do they still have reservations about it? Are there specific things they don't like about it?
They do.
And those have not been addressed, and they are saying that
not.
Guta has gone ahead to agree regardless.
Yeah. The last meeting I know of, they met the vice president. I'm not sure how that ended, but following that meeting, there was another meeting without them, but with Guta. So that's the,
Because I've tried to understand Mr. Samson Awingobit's position on it. He's been on this show a couple of times, and I've tried.
It's hard to follow through?
It's not always easy to follow, because the concept is that the value of your thing is not being declared by you here, where you can say what you like. It's being declared by the person you bought it from, so that there is some transparency. In principle, I'm not sure what is bad about that, but when we follow the practice of it, they seem to have some difficulty, and it's not clear.
I think there was a concern. My understanding was they raised some concerns about a middle person in there who is also charging. So this is not direct.
So they're having to pay extra in order to validate the value
because of the third party's involvement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
At least that's what I got. I don't know if that position has changed though. Roland is on that beat for us.
Yes. Hopefully we'll learn a bit more later this morning. You talked about former President Rawlings. I think he finds himself in an uncomfortable position. This is my opinion. I feel that the former president had several opportunities to avoid this. You see, when you have, and I'll tell you this, I've met him, so I know that he has a very, very strong belief in his integrity. He has no question about the fact that he treats people fairly and honestly and does not lie. That is his conviction in life. Unfortunately, he expects others to automatically have the same view of him because he feels he hasn't given anyone a reason not to. That's his perspective. But the problem is that in the absence of evidence and proof, when you state something, those who like you will believe you, and those who don't like you will not believe you. That's just the nature of the world. And so there were many opportunities that I feel he had to avoid leaving it to choice whether or not people believe him. Several opportunities from the very beginning, from the time when he had this recording and somehow it never came out. No one ever heard it publicly except for one journalist who wrote about it and got sacked. To the point where, he didn't really want to engage with the National Reconciliation Commission until the very last minute, where he came along and didn't really dispute much of what was being said, except that he stuck to his guns that he didn't order anyone to be killed. But as to the question of whether he sanctioned them to be picked up or arrested or whatever, that has never been clarified. And unfortunately, the commission declared that, yes, he knew about them being picked up. You see, and he never responded to that. But now that there's a documentary out, he feels slighted. And he feels like he's being brought into it as a killer, someone who killed them. And he takes exception to that. But the problem is, you must put it beyond debate. If you have proof, you put it beyond debate so that it's not up to those who like you to say you are innocent and those who don't like you to say you are guilty. It shouldn't have come to that.
I think this is the thing. Who killed the judges? The intention was not to say that somebody did what, somebody didn't do what. We were documenting, and that's what we sought to do, and that's what we've achieved. I think it's great that people are talking about it. The whole idea was to document it. It's crimes that shook the nation, and this is the first one that you've seen, and it's gotten you you know, I don't know what will happen to the rest.
Yeah,
and it's not for anybody to line up what crimes we should do. We are an independent organization.
Yeah,
we
will choose
which crimes we decide to do and at what time. So you can question us, but you know, and that's how he decides to take it. So that's where we will leave it, though.
Yeah. Unfortunate. But you know, I still think it would be delightful to actually interview him, you know, and actually put the questions to him directly and see how he responds. Well, to be fair,
Raymond Aqua, who produced the documentary, yes, he had several appointments.
He tried hard,
and a few times he slept waiting, but it didn't happen. But that's how it is. So the point is that we haven't mentioned anybody's name in that documentary. If you follow through.
No, it's not that we haven't mentioned anybody's
you killed this person, you killed that person.
Yeah, you're right. It's not that we haven't mentioned anybody's name, but we haven't accused anybody of a crime. We have simply documented what was said. And if anything, the commission, National Reconciliation Commission, was more categorical in declaring who they think.
That's the problem. When it's in the piece of paper, you know, you really hardly would pay attention. But when it's in the form of a film, you know, then it comes like, you are saying something new, but all these things were right there.
Facts. Okay, well, so 6 oil blocks are going to be auctioned. These are some of the stories which sometimes I read them and I think, okay, well, it's not much to do with me. I'm not in oil and gas, you know. But then again, I think about what has happened in the past, how much oil we have and how little we make from it, because we give away 90% of the value to others and keep only 10%. Meanwhile, yenza, you know. Yeah,
but we don't have the money to invest in it.
Yes, but
somebody comes to invest.
Other countries have done something different, like Saudi Arabia. They
Do you have that kind of capacity?
Well, it didn't take capacity, it just took deal making. What they said was, so you, Tullow, for example, if you want to come and drill oil here, okay, you go and drill it with your own money, bring it up, and when you bring it up, we'll sell it to you at 10 cents per barrel or whatever. So you bring it up, we'll sell it, and then 10 cents is yours, the rest is ours. Okay, it's still a good deal for Tullow. They're still making a profit, so they will come along and do it. We don't have to give them 90% of the value in order for them to agree to do business with us. I guess that's the point. And it doesn't take capacity, it just takes negotiating. And it takes a lack of corruption, you know, because the way they get their way is they'll give somebody some $5 million and the person will sign 90% to them. You know, and the rest of us are left, you know, holding our, it's too early for me to say which body parts, but you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm hoping that this time around, we're going to the table a bit more shrewd, and, you know, we're taking a bit more ownership for our own natural resources, and not acting like we are slaves to somebody who has money, you know, and just recognizing that those people need our resources. It's ours.
You need a bit of Trump to be able to do that.
You do, don't you? Yes, one of the things I admire about him. Yeah. Okay, well, also I noticed that the Auditor General is being sued, and I tried to find the story, but it doesn't really direct me to the page. So I've been flipping through this thing, trying to find out why the Auditor General is being sued. Oh, here we are. All right, let me share some detail. So a private citizen has dragged the Auditor General to the Supreme Court, seeking an interpretation of the extent of his powers vis-a-vis the Audit Service Board. So the suit is the latest twist in all of their drama at the Audit Service, where the Auditor General has been accused of sidelining members of the Audit Service Board based on his interpretation of Article 187 of the Constitution. Isaac Wilberforce is the plaintiff, Isaac Wilberforce Mensah, forgive me. He's a journalist, private legal practitioner, and he is stressing the need for constitutional interpretation to clearly establish the lines of authority and the degree of independence of the Auditor General, who has promised not to abide by any decision taken by the board. But by the way, let's be clear. The Auditor General has been, has been driven to this position by a series of events. And he called for intervention from the presidency to avoid him having to make a decision that could end him up in the Supreme Court. But as it appears, there was no intervention. And now he's taken decisions to act without the influence of his board, because he feels that the board is circumventing his purpose. And now somebody is taking it to the Supreme Court for interpretation. Let's see what the Supreme Court has to say about it. But Again, an avoidable situation. If only the plenty of calls that were made were heeded, we could have seen something different. But the audit services is another story, by the way, Mama B. Over the weekend, I picked up some documents which I have now verified with the presidency to be genuine.
Okay.
A memo from the audit service regarding a special audit they did into the Ghana Export Promotion Authority following the president's dismissal of Gifty Clenham,
the CEO,
who was the CEO,
and her
I think
deputies.
executive secretary, and they've sent this memo to Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and it's been forwarded to the presidency. And the memo says that they think there might be judgment debt possible because they consider the president's removal of the former boss,
Gifty
Clenham, to have been improper and irregular. They say it borders on illegality.
But how does that result in?
Because if it borders on illegality, then they can be sued by Gifty Clenham, and that would result in judgment debt. So the audit service is saying that, look, this could end up in the authority losing money, government
Is she in court?
losing money. No, they are saying that if she is minded to sue them, they could end up with judgment debt. I mean, it's the audit service's job to inform you of all your potential financial difficulties.
That would be like, I'm not sure, because she's a member of the party, right?
Oh, so
the
you're
member
thinking
of the
that
MPP.
would never happen, right?
I'm not saying that will never happen. I don't know, but it will be, that will be like a classic case.
Well,
I think it will get all of us.
It doesn't happen often, I have to say, yes. It doesn't happen
hardly
often.
happens.
Yeah, but I suppose the audit service doesn't concern itself with that. They are simply, doing what their job mandates them to do, which is tell you what potentially could end up costing you. Yeah. But the question then is, did the president actually unlawfully dismiss someone? Is that what has just happened? We ought to look into it and see what the law says, whether the president acted within the law or not.
Yeah.
It will be very interesting to see how that unfolds. We'll be looking at that in subsequent
and I hope the
bulletins,
presidency would respond to this.
Yes, it's important that they do. I think they should be sure.
Okay, so this story on the back page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, actually taken from a conversation on PM Express last Thursday with Sylvester Mensah. That's where Sylvester Mensah said we have been meeting, and they've been meeting with okay, so he's been meeting with others who have the same kind of aspiration,
right,
such as him.
Other flag bearers.
Exactly. Potential.
Other potential flag bearers, yes.
So, the question still remains, would we see an alliance being formed? If you come down, there's also another story still related, alliance against John Mahama with a question mark, but there's a picture of there's a picture of Spio Gabra, Gusitano, Alban Backbin, Ricketts Hagan, and Sylvester Mensah. Joshua Labi is missing in there.
Yes.
But, so it's still a matter of questions being asked pretty much, and some analysis that Ben F. Singh is making. That will be it for the newspapers.